Here's a headline for you. Harvard crisis signals broader fight over what a university should be, end quote. Nicholas Giordano joins me now. He's big on this subject. Nicholas, I've got a question for you. Should students have to sign statements, attend mandatory classes, use only approved language in order to get into a college or a business? Because that's the way it is now.
As someone that's been in the classroom for 20 years, the answer is absolutely not. I mean, when we look at the DEI agenda, it has done enormous harm to this country, and we've been reporting at Campus Reform the results. We're seeing them in real time. So if you look at the numbers, in New York State, for instance, the New York State Board of Regents redefined what proficiency means after New York State students performed twice below the national average when it comes to proficiency. In Oregon, they suspended graduation requirements, students demonstrating a proficiency in reading, writing, and mathematics until 2029. And the main justification for it is because it hurts students of color. It hurts minority students. And it shows the racism that's involved with the DEI agenda. This has actually decimated the higher ed education landscape because the standards have been dropped so low. And once you begin to justify the idea of plagiarism as a new academic standard, we no longer have an education system at that point.
DEI seems to me, taking the big picture here, to define America as a bad place. Do you have students coming into your classroom who regard America as a bad place because of what they've been brainwashed?
Well, my students are a different caliber. They don't openly come in with the anti-Americanism that we're seeing throughout the country, but we do know that DEI does foster anti-Americanism because that's where it's deeply rooted, and it's going to take a few years before it actually hits my classrooms. But my students know very little about the United States. But here's some shocking numbers. 38% of people today, Americans today, believe that patriotism, hard work, and faith are important values to have. Compare that to 70% in 1998. If you look at 1 in 5 Gen Zers have a sympathetic view of Osama bin Laden, and 30% believe that he has good ideas that contribute to the global framework. When you see numbers like that, you realize how toxic diversity, equity, and inclusion is as it's being driven. But there is pushback. There is a momentum that's going against the DEI movement, and I think that we are making gains on this.
Well, I noticed that Texas has just joined Florida in banning DEI at publicly funded colleges. So DEI seems to be in retreat, is it?
It is. And when you look at the DEI framework that's been set up throughout institutions, we are seeing the massive pushback. And it's coming from Texas, Florida, West Virginia, all states pushing DEI legislation, anti-DEI legislation. But more importantly, it's coming down to ordinary people, where 62% of Americans have lost faith in four-year institutions. You have 56% of Americans now saying a four-year degree is no longer worth it. But the biggest thing is the employers, corporations. The employers, over 50% of employers today have stated that in 2024 they plan to do away with four-year degree requirements. States like New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Virginia are doing away with four-year degree requirements. Donors are pulling back their money, and the message is clear. We want competent, informed, productive citizens, not ideological zealots that the education system is producing.
Nicholas Giordano, thanks for joining us this morning on Important Message. We appreciate it. Thank you, Jim.